Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adanna Combie, and as I mentioned before, we're going to be having conversations with our Caribbean neighbors as they speak about the experiences of Hurricane Beryl. And we head on over to Grenada, and we're speaking with Lorenzo Celestine this morning. Good morning, Lorenzo, and welcome to our program. We're hoping to connect with Lorenzo. Good morning. Right, so Lorenzo, we are coming to you from Tobago in relation to the effects and the impacts of Hurricane Beryl. And of course, as I said all morning, we can only measure from what we are seeing on screen on social media. But as living in Grenada and having experienced the hurricane passing through your area, what has it been like for you, for your community, for your neighbors, and for the country, the nation on a whole? We're talking about Grenada, Piti, Martinique, and Carriacou. What has it been like in real time being there during that period? And I know Hurricane Beryl, it literally took 30 minutes, to have that measure of impact. What has it been like for you? Your mic, Lorenzo, your mic.
You hear me?
Try again. All right, so we know we might be having some issues there, but I hope we're able to have to hear you. So let's see if we can. I'm not sure if your mic is working or maybe a connection issue there, but we're trying to find out from Lorenzo, a resident right there in Grenada, as it relates to what happened. We saw with on social media, and as I mentioned, one of my friends in Carriacou said it is much worse than what we're seeing. So I'm hoping we can speak with Lorenzo this morning to get feedback in terms of the status right now in Grenada there. I really do hope that we are able to get his view, his opinion on air this morning in terms of what the impact was for him, for his family, his community. I know that Grenada is a very, very close knit community, and the people are very, very resilient. And so we're really hoping to get back that connection with him this morning so that we can know what
I
is
am here
happening
back.
there. Um, of Lorenzo?
Yes, I am here.
Right, we're hearing you loud and clear now this morning. And of course, I was just saying how resilient the people of Grenada are, Grenada, Petit Martinique, and Carriacou. And so we saw what was happening there, but we want to get your view as to what happened, how you felt when this was happening, your family, your relatives, the community, and, where we are now in terms of trying to rebuild and, repair the islands, as it were, after the impact.
Well, it was frightening, but the thing about it, we had learned from Ivan that we have to be prepared. We saw the losses, the damages that we had during Ivan. So a lot of Grenadians were preparing. They were prepared. They already settled down. They hunkered down in their spaces. No one was seeing extra on the roads trying to do extra things that. And we're just waiting for the day. On the day itself, it was very windy, wind, rain. The government had a very extensive and up-to-date network. Every 2 hours, we're being updated as to where things are during the time that we had electricity. And while the hurricane was passing, very windy, rain, everything. In my area, we didn't suffer any losses, no roofs had gone and everything. I live in the south of the island, probably about 5 minutes from the Point Saline International Airport. So we were spared, but we were able because we had electricity for a very long time. So we were spared and were able to do the follow up with the news, the updates from government reporters and everything.
Mm.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, I have friends in Grenada, I have friends in Carriacou and Petit Martinique as well. And as you mentioned, from where you were able to have, you guys had electricity for a longer period. And I know persons on those other islands, they have been cut off, we see people trying to find people, trying to locate people. In terms of your interaction with persons on the island, especially in areas where people have been impacted, what have they been saying and how are they? I know it was a scary thing, and as you mentioned, Grenadians were really prepared because of the experience they had with Hurricane Ivan. What are they saying now that this has happened, and now it's time to pick up the pieces? What is the feeling like in Grenada at this point in time?
Well, it's a sad, bitter feeling for those of us who are affected and that those are not affected. Because the thing about it, we are a close knit country community. We have friends in all sectors and areas of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Just last month, for itself, I made 2 trips to Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So I know what life is like. I have a lot of friends up there. And about 9:28, because the phone records the time, 9:28 on the morning of the hurricane, I called one of my friends up there, real close, and I didn't get him. Then he called me back 9:30 a.m. and tell me, boy, he went and moved the boat because the waves start coming in, tide high, everything high, and he reached back home now and he's settling home. And that was the last conversation I had with him. He have business there. I saw on video shots that his business roof was intact, thank God. But I've yet to make contact with him. But I made contact with other friends, and they say he is good. Like most, like every other place, they lost their roofs, but they are in good health, and they thank God for that.
And I see, of
And they need
course,
a
your
lot
prime
of help.
minister, of course, heading over to Carriacou, to assess the damage. And of course, agencies from across the Caribbean regions are now sending relief to Grenada, Petit Martinique, and Carriacou. And so we really do hope that we can, we work together to rebuild the islands that have been impacted the most. And I do hope that you are able to connect again with your friends in the other islands. I hope that electricity is restored as soon as possible and that we can have some measure of normalcy and comfort where this is concerned. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And of course, I do hope that you and your family, remain safe, that your friends remain safe, and that we can come back to normalcy in the soonest possible time. Thank you so much, Lorenzo, for joining us here this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Lorenzo
You're
Celestine
welcome.
out of Grenada, speaking about the impacts of Hurricane Beryl and how it has affected him, his community, and his friends in other parts of the island, Petit Martinique and Carriacou. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations this morning. And as we go for a break, of course, we invite you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.